बद्धेनाञ्जलिनानतेन शिरसा गात्रैः सरोमोद्गमैः कण्ठेन स्वरगद्गदेन नयनेन उद्गीर्णबाष्पाम्बुना नित्यं त्वच्चरणारविन्दयुगल ध्यानामृतास्वादिनाम् अस्माकं सरसीरुहाक्ष सततं सम्पद्यतां जीवितम्। Om Namo Narayana. We are at the close of the most elegant discourse by Sri Krishna on meditation. Starting from the 10th verse of this chapter 6 up to the 32nd verse, which means in 23 verses, Bhagavan Sri Krishna gives us an outline of how we may meditate, on what we may meditate, what the benefits of meditation are, what strength and what other rewards it blesses us with. And there is a description of anyone who has, through study, reflection and meditation, reached the pinnacle of inner perfection, would behave. What that lady's or man's perception of the same world which you and I see would be. That was brought out in a couple of verses that we covered, saying the yogi who has reached the peak of meditative excellence sees God in everything, sees everything in God, sees herself or himself in God. In other words, everything becomes Satchidananda Brahma. And in the last verse we saw, namely 30th, there was such a reassuring statement. I will never be away from such a devotee, and that devotee will never be away from me. Tasya aham na pranashyami. And sacha me na pranashyati was said. On that we spent a whole class last Wednesday morning in India and Tuesday evening in the Western Hemisphere. Adi Shankaracharya holds our hand and guides us, leads us on to the next shloka now. Two more shlokas are left in this main portion, verse 10 to verse 32 in this chapter, which has 47 verses in all. And Adi Shankara says, Purva shlokartham samyak darshanam anudya anuvadam kritva. In many Indian languages, anuvada is first taken as translation, which is okay, but the primary meaning in the scriptures for the word anuvada, from which the word anudya arises, means saying whatever was said in a new way, in a different way, saying the same material, giving the same message in probably more concise manner. So, Purva Shlokartham Samyak Darshanam Anudya. The next shloka is not going to say something entirely new. It just does Anuvada, saying what was said before in yet another way. What was said before? Samyak Darshana. The state of Jiva Bhava is marked by Asamyak Darshana. Entire Advaita Vedanta stands on the first proposition that there is an error in seeing who you are, what the world is. Erroneous perception, it is called adhyasa. It itself is avidya. There is erroneous seeing, that is avidya. That error is removed, you see rightly, that is vidya. The purpose of all the Upanishads is to eliminate avidya or asamyak darshana, whereby samyak darshana remains unobstructed. Purva shloka artham, the meaning of the previous shloka was once more no other than samyak darshana, seeing rightly. Tat samyak darshanam anudya, saying it again in yet another way, tat phalam, the reward of that samyak darshana, what is it? Mokshaha abhidhiyate. Moksha. Moksha is going to be presented. The state of moksha will be touched upon in the coming shloka. So we see 31 today. Sarva bhuta stitam yo mam prajatyekatvam astitah sarvatha vartamanopi sayogi mai vartate. That samyak darshana nishta yogi, that exalted, extraordinary wise person, about him it is said, always that person, man or woman, sarvatha vartamanaha, doesn't matter in what way he is. He may be a king or he may be a beggar. He may be presiding over a spiritual center, or he might be sitting simply below some tree. Not many people know who he is. He may be keeping good health, or he may be unwell, and so on and so forth. External conditions do not matter to someone who has gained this samyak darshana. Sarvatha vartamanopi. Vartamana means being or staying or living in whatever condition, in a village or in the city, living in his own country of birth or abroad, traveling all around or not leaving his little village. And when you look around, you have so many examples of saints and sages who are, outwardly speaking, so different from each other. Sri Ramakrishna did not leave Kolkata. Mostly he was at Dakshineshwar only. Vivekananda went all over the globe. Swami Tapovanam remained in Uttarakashi. Sometimes he would, when it was too cold, come down to Rishikesh. Rather, it was other way. Gangotri and Uttarakashi. He would be in Gangotri and Uttarakashi. Very rarely he went to Rishikesh or Haridwar. In other words, he remained in the Himalayan region. Pujya Swami Chinmayananji went all over the world. In fact, there was a very popular picture in those days, it must be there now also, where Swami is looking up at the sky. And somebody very nicely commented, you know what this picture means? We asked him. Yeah, Gurudev is looking at the sky. That person gave an interpretation. He said, no, he's not just looking at the sky. Swamiji has gone all over the world with the message of the Gita. Now he is looking at the moon. Can we have a Gita Jnana Yajna on the moon? He must be thinking. This was the, imagination, which was a very acceptable, very good imagination, because that was the spirit of Chinmaya. He would take the message of Upanishads to nook and corner of this world. So, Swami Chinmayananji went all over, everywhere. In India also, you go to some small town, they would say, once he had passed by this place or he came to the nearby city. We had darshan of his. It was unbelievable. Some of the figures about him, number of letters he wrote, number of people he met, number of questions he answered, etc., could probably break some Guinness Book of, some record in the Guinness Book of World Records. So, while all that is glamorous, true spirituality does not demand that everybody be like that. Sarvatha vartamano. Travel if you wish to. Stay put at one place if you wish to. Wear orange robes if you wish to. Wear yellow, green, or blue, or white, or some other. Have a lot of clothes if you wish to, or have just two pairs of clothes. So this is a long list. The Sarvata Vartamanopi, though it's not a complete sentence, just those three words, Sarvata Vartamanam Api. They deserve to be written on a piece of paper and put on our table, so that we may time and again see it and regain our confidence, self-assurance. Because we have a weakness. Looking at some externality of ours, we feel bad. I have a small house and somebody has a big house, and I feel, well, if I was a bit more clever in life, I would also have had a bigger house. Then you should read the Sarvata Vartamanopi. How does it matter whether you have a big house or a small house? What you need is a big vision, big heart. Sarvata Vartamanopi. Likewise, connected to anything of the world which generally might tempt you, getting which you may feel proud, not getting which you may feel low. They are all part of Maya. They are all part of certain erroneous perception. That is Adhyasa. Then Shastra comes along, gives us an Adhyaropa, another way of looking at the world. And then when the Shastra does Apavada, negation of that Adhyaropa which Shastra gave us, it takes along with Adhyaropa our Adhyasa also. First there is Adhyasa. We study Shastras, we get quite fascinated by the Adhyaropa that Shastra brought in. And when the last stage of this teaching technique, Apavada, happens, Adhyasa and Adhyaropa, both of them are bundled together and removed. Therefore, the main prakriya, fundamental prakriya of Vedanta is Adhyaropa Apavada. In the 13th chapter, we will see Adi Shankara himself says, commenting on the second shloka of chapter 13, Adhyaropa Apavada Abhyam Nishprapancham Prapanchate. That which cannot be pointed out is ably pointed out by this method of deliberate superimposition and subsequent negation. So, if you have these three words, Sarvatha Vartamanopi, maybe I am in jail, maybe I am occupying very coveted quarters of some kingdom, Rajashraya. To someone who has gone to the depth of Gita's teachings, it doesn't make any difference. He recognizes, he or she notices, yes, I am sitting on a throne studded with diamonds and other precious stones. And some other day, she recognizes, I am sitting below a tree by a roadside, and people passing by don't even know who I am. So, recognizing is different, but to feel high or low is an entirely different thing. Therefore, let the world say whatever it wants to about you. Let the world honor you or disrespect you. Let the world award you with some special titles, etc., or let the world despise you, looking at you as good for nothing, a failure in life, etc., etc. These are the things that actually bother us many times. But sarvatha vartamana. What is important is, now come to the first half of the sloka. Sarvabhuta stitam mam yaha bhajati. Wherever you are, you must keep your eyes on the lotus feet of the Lord. Ekatvam astita. You must be anchored in the vision of oneness. It's all one. It's all the same. It is all Bhagavan appearing in many ways. You do not then distinguish palatial residence or residence in a little hut in a village. Ekatvam. Gramaha api, nagaram api, ekameva. They are one. Ekatvam astita. Only thing, be careful. Don't misuse this to going on, condoning your errors. Don't live in pramada. Don't live in some kind of meaningless indulgence. While all are studying Gita, don't sit in a corner going on eating some sweets and laughing at them. And they ask, why are you not joining? Sarvata vartamanopi. And you eat one more sweet. And tomorrow when you have tooth pain or you have some other health disorder, don't blame. Don't blame the Gita. Don't misuse such expressions for endorsing or condoning or falsely approving some wrong way of living. You must be true to your conscience. Do you think this is the right thing to do? And if yes, do it. Do you think this is wrong to do? Then don't do it. Live conscientiously. Now, what is said here, to say one last sentence, is, in spite of all care you took, suppose somebody becomes rich and you remain poor, somebody becomes popular and you are unpopular, then you must drink this. Sarvata vartamano. Mai saha vartate. I am neither in a palace nor in a hut. Then where am I? I am at the lotus feet of God. Mai vartate. I am by Sri Krishna's feet. I am by Lord Shiva's feet. I am by Lalitambika's feet. Your Ishta Devata. But your friend is in a palace. You say that doesn't matter. The question is this friend at the feet of Godhead? So, Mai Vartate. Bhajati. She who adores God, adores Sri Krishna, Ekatvamasika. Such a person is praised. Shankara gives just a few words. He doesn't in fact touch every part of the shloka. Sarvata means sarva prakaraihi, vartamanaha api. He doesn't give even a synonym. Vartamanaha api goes without being commented upon. Vartate, tishtati, asti, aste. All these mean to be, to stay somewhere. No matter where you stay, no matter how you live, sarvatha vartamano. In a hospital with your leg at 45-degree angle, no problem. Or preparing for another race in an athletic competition, so fit and fine, no problem. Sarvatha vartamanopi samyagdarshi. What is important is your vision all right? Are you seeing that Brahma alone, outside and inside, in the past and in the future, every period of time, every spot of space, Samyakdarshi yogi Varivartate. Then, thanks to that clear vision, this yogi or yogini is in me actually. She resides, she dwells in me. What does this mean? As appropriate to the context of Bhagavad Gita, where Mahavishnu is teaching in the form of Sri Krishna, Bhagavan says, Mai Vaishnave Parame Pade, that supreme state of Mahavishnu. Of course, there is no narrowing of the meaning. You may say Brahma is formless, nameless, attributeless. Why narrow it down to Vishnu, one form, one very exalted form, no doubt, of God? He say, if you are of that view, do not take the word Vishnu in the sense of that particular Shankha Chakra Gada Padmadhari Chaturbahu Lakshmi Patihi Vishnu. No, Vishnu means Vyapakatva Vishnu, that which is all pervasive. And thus Vaishnave Pade Sahavartate. What it means is, next sentence of the Bhāshya, Nitya Muktaha Eva Saha. He is ever free. His freedom will never come to an end. And the summary of this was Sarvata Vartamana, on which we too said quite a bit, means, Shankara puts it this way, Mokshaha na kenachit pratibadhyate. Liberation is not obstructed. Na pratibadhyate. Kenachit. Na. Na pratibadhyate kenachit. That is, your poverty or your wealth, your sickness or your health, you are traveling all over the world, or you are being only in a tiny village somewhere. By none of those external descriptions, liberation is impeded, obstructed. That means don't get swayed by worldly ways. Focus on understanding Brahma rightly. Now comes the last verse of this main bunch of 32, not 32, 23 verses, 10 through 32. 32nd shloka is the last of the 23 verses. Sometimes in Gita Jnana Yajnas, when we find that 47 verses of this chapter are a bit short, we take only the verses 10 to 32. I have conducted at least 2 yajnas, if not more, on just these 23 verses. That itself has so much said. So what is this last verse? A much quoted shloka indeed. Bhagavan Sri Krishna gives an outstanding definition of supreme yogi. Paramaha yogi kaha. Who is the supreme yogi? Of all yogis, whom do we place on top? Bhagavan says, Atmaupamyena sarvatra samam pashyati yorjuna sukham va yadi va dukkham sayogi paramo mataha. Sayogi paramo mataha. Mataha here means considered, regarded. Sayogi paramo mataha. One casting of vote is called matadana, many of our Indian languages. Mata, dana. Dana means giving. Mata. So why is mata used to mean a vote in democracies? Yes, your vote is after all an expression of which candidate you regard as the best one. You consider this candidate of Congress or BJP or some party. This candidate I regard as the best. So you cast the vote in her favor. So mata used as a vote also means consider. Whoever is considered suitable to become an MLA, to become a member of parliament or whatever, gets the mata, gets the vote. So when you know the word a little bit deeply, you find that it has usage at many places. So coming back, that yogi is regarded the best, Paramaha. Hasty readers, novices, those who don't know much of the Vedanta may begin to imagine who is the best yogi. Probably somebody who can live without breathing for 10 days at a stretch. There are some people who allow or who ask their devotees to bury them under the earth. And 10 days later, you open remove the soil and take him out, he is still alive. Wow, what a yogi. So, yogi is often equated with somebody who has supernatural powers, like walking on water, flying in the air, reading somebody else's mind, materializing something, or there is something and the yogi looks at it and it vanishes. Powers, siddhis. With all due respect to those siddhis, Vedanta says uncompromising. Siddhis are utterly secondary. Primarily, this shloka says, it is the vision of how everyone is like oneself and how oneself is like everyone. It is the vision of ekatva described in the previous verse. Atma aupamyena. Aupamya means being comparable. You look at somebody being honored, you understand the joy, celebration he is experiencing. You know what it is to be in his shoes. However, even as you really understand what the other person is going through, you are not attached to it. You don't seek it. And next day you see somebody who was utterly innocent and the police arrest him, beat him up a little bit, put him in jail. You say, oh God, he has not made any mistake. He has not committed any crime, but he is thrashed and put in jail. Krishna Krishna. You understand what that man or lady is going through. However, you have the equanimity to maintain your own balance, and if there is something you can do, you will do. That's a different story. So, in the joy and sorrow of others, you completely understand. And you understand so well as though you are going through those. In psychology, they have two words, sympathy, and then one step further is empathy. Empathy is, as Stephen Covey would put it, you emotionally read the other person. That means you understand the other person and you have a clear sense of what emotion she is going through. So that is called Atma Aupamyena Pashyati. Sarvatra Samam Pashyati. Equally at all places. And this applies to both happy times and sad times. Sukham va, yadi va, dukkham. Shankaracharya in his commentary says, this va, though elsewhere means or, means and here, and in happy and sad situations. That means in all situations, not optionally, not one of the two. In happy times and in sad times, the yogi understands others on a very profound level. That understanding others, that empathy, that being able to relate to different cross sections of the society is the hallmark of the Supreme Yogi. Adi Shankara elaborates now. There is this word Atmaupamya. So many people may have difficulty in pronouncing it properly. When I teach children some Sanskrit and so on, or even adults for that matter, I urge them, please read this shloka and read it correctly at one go. Don't go up to 3 words and having realized a mistake or realized you made a mistake, come back and start again, come back and start again. And then the fourth time somehow manage to read the whole shloka properly. No. Take a deep breath, look at the shloka if you want for a whole minute, then read it with no error all through. Sometimes there are some tongue twisters in every language, and it's so difficult to read that tongue twister sentence without making a single error. Okay, here you have a word which is a bit difficult for many people. Atmaupamyena. What is Atmaupamya? Adi Shankara, with great patience, says, first of all, what is Upama? Not Upma, Upama. Upama means comparison. Upamiyate anaya iti Upama. Niyate means to measure. That is how mana, pramana, etc. have come. Ma is to measure. Minoti, passive voice is niyate. Minoti or mimite, it is ubhayapadi. So niyate means something is measured. Suppose you want to measure a stone, and in order to know how big it is, you place it near another stone. Is this bigger than the second stone? Or is this smaller than the second stone? Then keeping the first stone near the second stone is upamiyate. Upa means near. So what is an upama? Upama is you place A near B and then through a certain comparison judge A. A heroic person is mentally placed next to a lion. How a lion is courageous, strong, and this man also is so courageous, so strong. So you measured, you judged, you assessed this man, comparing him with a lion. So upamiyate anaya upama tasyaha upamayaha bhavaha aupamyam. So an abstract noun is formed, aupamya. That is, if upama is comparison, aupamya is a state of affairs where something can be compared. Atma can be compared to all people, or all people and what they go through is comparable to what I would go through if I were in their shoes. Others' sorrow is my own sorrow. Others' joy is my own joy. In what sense? In terms of fully understand. As we said before, it's not that you understand somebody's sorrow and go on crying. You may not cry. You may not even show an expression on your face. You understand what the other person is going through. You take cognizance of the situation and then do whatever is appropriate. The love in your bosom does not go up or down. Tasyaha upamayaha bhavaha aupamyam. So upama aupamyam practically come together. Tena atmaupamyena sarvatra, which means sarva bhuteshu. Samam pashyati, tulyam pashyati. Tulya again means comparable. Sama means equal. So you regard somebody's joy and sorrow as comparable to your own joy and sorrow. So at this moment, you are not into that. You neither have that physical pain of the person who is in the hospital in agonizing pain, nor are you personally having celebration when somebody whom you watch on a video, maybe on live television, going and receiving a great award, Bharata Ratna, somebody is receiving. You know what it is, but there is not an iota of your seeking. Oh, I wish I received Bharata Ratna. That is ignorance. That is avidya. To seek what somebody is enjoying and complaining, oh my, I did not get that award, is sign of ignorance. That is when you have not ceased to think of yourself as the personality. If you are the personality, honor and dishonor are all valid. They are applicable to you. You are not the personality. The Brahmanishta steadily remains in knowing he is not a person. If you were a person, it is good to receive Bharata Ratna, and it is terrible to meet with an accident and then spend 20 days at a hospital. But you are not a person. Therefore, it is said, Tulyam Pashyati, that is sympathizing, understanding, and responding in an appropriate way. You are sensitive, you respond, you do what is possible. However, you are utterly detached on a deeper level in yourself. Tulyam Pashyati, such a kim samam pashyati, what does he see equally? Sukham and Dukkham are explained. Yatha mama sukham ishtam, tata sarva praninam sukham anukulam. When somebody is likely to be honored, or somebody is likely to get some comfort, someone has been working hard and her dream was to possess her own car. She grew up in a poor family where there was not even a bicycle. She worked hard, she got a job, she earned, she saved, and two-wheeler. Then one day she is going to buy a car. You see her, and then you know, yes, if I were of that particular background, if I were to work hard and come to this position, today would have been such a great day to own one's own car. And this girl is going to have her own car. So you see what it is to enjoy. Sarva praninam sukham yatha mama sukham. So in other words, it is empathy. It is a deep connection that the yogi experiences with all living beings. And needless to say, the yogi is way above any prejudice. People of my caste, of my state, or my language, my professional group, people or my relative, oh, that boy who is being honored today is my nephew, you see. And this way, because he is your nephew, you are able to, as though, experience that happiness yourself. Then there is a narrowness. So it's difficult to understand a Jivan Mukta. Suppose a Jivan Mukta's nephew gets some special medal for the research he has done. Don't expect Jivan Mukta to be utterly expressionless. He may even use the word nephew. He may say to a bunch of people, I'm happy to tell all of you, my nephew has received gold medal in Jawaharlal Nehru University. Today there is a function. He may say, don't hurriedly judge that wise man. Hmm, he is a sannyasi and he still talks nephew and niece. What is going on? That is all superficial. By not using those words, there are many people who inwardly are full of attachments. Therefore, outwardly somebody, even after 5 years, 10 years of sannyasa, outwardly may say, this is my nephew. It's not your job to judge him. Yeah, you may raise your eyebrows. Why is a sannyasi still calling somebody his nephew when he has walked away from the family? Well, don't judge. Or if you are close to him or her for a long time, you will know whether it is attachment or it is just ease of communication. Sometimes to communicate something. Whether somebody overdoes it or occasionally, or whether somebody wants some description of himself, or somebody does, he doesn't mind. Suppose you were a famous heart surgeon and you took sannyas. And in some function, while inviting and then welcoming you, somebody says about you, Swami so and so was a heart surgeon in Hyderabad. He was a heart surgeon, very well known heart surgeon. That person giving welcome speech may make a big issue of it. So the Swamiji on the stage may feel a bit embarrassed, but he may keep quiet. Don't have a narrow standard. Now the Swami should immediately stop that person. Swami just smiles. Maybe after the function, the Swami may say to the secretary who introduced him like that, please don't go to my Purvashrama like that. You are emphasizing, pressing, and you talked of me as a former heart surgeon so much. Now tomorrow people with heart problem may come to me, not with spiritual problems. So he will joke like that. But he won't take it to heart. So we are not to judge anybody on the basis of externalities so hastily. If you really wish to know, spend more time. You are considering taking that person as your guru. It's a very serious matter. But already you find certain things a little disturbing. Hold on, don't judge hastily. Spend a month or 2 months or a year in his vicinity. Then who knows? Though he was behaving like a worldly person in certain contexts, he is way above attachments. So, this empathy is not to be misunderstood as personal attachment. In spite of all Brahmajnana, he still is so attached to people. Some people, when his people suffer, he cries. When his people win, he celebrates. What is all this? Don't say that. Shankara says, Yaccha dukkham mama pratikulam anishtam yatha tata sarva praninam dukkham anishtam pratikulam. So even his enemy puts his foot upon a thorn and says, the saint looks at that pain, understands that pain. Even may offer to remove that thorn from the so-called enemy's foot. Now you may ask, does Jivan Mukta have enemies? So this again is Loka Drishti. From Loka Drishti, somebody may be a saint's enemy. Angulimala was enemy of Buddha. Because people every day heard Angulimala swearing against Buddha. Angulimala said, just wait and see. I'll finish this Buddha. I'll finish him off. Rest is history. Rather than Angulimala killing the Buddha transformed Angulimala to become a bhikkhu, so or bhikshu. Angulimala was called enemy, that sense. In the heart of the enlightened person, there is no hatred towards anybody. So thus, Vashabdaha cha arthe, that also I said before. Sukha-dukkhe anukula pratikule tulyataya sarvabhuteshu samam pashyati na kasyachit pratikulam acharati. There is a practical significance of this, where the enlightened one has a deep understanding of what people go through. What is that practical significance? Thanks to that samabhava, thanks to the empathy that he has towards all, without distinction, he will never do some kind of disservice, some kind of wrong to anybody. Na kasyachit pratikulam acharat. That is, born of a personal dislike, he would not do anything. She would not do anything wrong to somebody. Of course, if somebody is seen to be dangerous to others, the wise man also may ensure that that dangerous person is restrained, fined, punished also in some way. That is to maintain dharma. There is no personal hatred there. Personal prejudice doesn't come into the picture. Ahimsakaha ityarthaha. Acharya Shankara hastens to add, what is meant is, in his heart, he has no violence. I must say, in his heart. Because life situations are such, as I said, I gave an example already, sometimes somebody may have to be punished. Somebody has to be fined. Somebody who has done some financial irregularity. The wise man would not say, forgive him, just behave as though nothing happened. No. The man has gobbled 6 crores of some company, and now the law of the land says he has to return those 6 crores. Otherwise, his properties would be confiscated. Now they ask the wise man's opinion. The wise man is not going to say, Ahimsa paramo dharma, don't trouble him. I can't see him and his wife crying, walking away from their palatial house. No, that is not born of personal hatred. If he has wrongly taken 6 crores of rupees from the company where he was working, and now if the decision is his house, palatial house, would be confiscated, and thereby that wrongdoer is made to pay back to the company, the wise man also approves it in all likelihood. Every story has then, more and more dimensions to it, that's different. But the wise man is not per se against violence. Physical violence is many a time unavoidable. But if it is through narrow judgmentalism, you are let us say, Hanuman Bhakta, and somebody else is a Devi Bhakta, and you don't like it. He should also be Hanuman Bhakta, and therefore you take a stick in hand. That is also silly. That is, others should have the same belief as you have. Those who don't believe in your God deserve to be killed and so on. That is not religion. That is not spirituality. That is mean. That definitely is not applicable to the enlightened person. In Bhagavad Geetā itself, they raise the question, don't they? Why did Sri Krishna permit the Mahabharata war? They forget. Sri Krishna went on behalf of Pandavas to Duryodhana asking for 5 villages, not even 6. Draupadi didn't get a separate in that proposal. Duryodhana give 5 villages to Pandavas. They would just happily live there. They won't trouble you. All effort was put in. And when nothing worked, then the last resort was, the last action possible was the war. As per the norms of those times, that was again a dharma yuddha. There were strict rules, and people like Karna violated it. And in response to it, Sri Krishna made Arjuna kill Karna when he was lying on the ground. Chatam pratishatyam it is called. Do unto the wrongdoers in appropriate manners a wrong measure. Take the wrong measure in a particular context, not yadvatadva, not anywhere and everywhere. So, ahinsakaha is to be understood that way. America is a Christian-dominated country. And it is the America which is the only country which put a nuclear bomb on another country. Now, Hinduism is criticized. In their Gita, violence is endorsed. India did not attack any country in the world. India did not go, trying to grab the land of some other country, and that. So, number one, they have not understood the Gita. Number two, the behavior of many of those countries who belong to some other religions is not at all of non-violence. America gets involved in Vietnam, gets involved in Afghanistan. Recently, what a shameful conclusion to the story. After 20 years of controlling Afghanistan, quickly the United States withdraws, leaving Afghanistan in a total confusion. So I am not a political commentator, but ahinsakaha is worth thinking about. Sri Krishna was not at all for violence. He tried his best, playing the role of Sri Krishna. Somebody would say he is God. By just raising a finger, he could have stopped everything. He could have seen that Duryodhana goes into the earth and magically the Yudhishthira is placed on the throne. This is very unbalanced thinking. Because that way we also would say, Sri Krishna, if he wanted, could have ensured that Pandavas from day one, even as they were children, were never put to any injustice. No. Sri Krishna played a certain role and set certain boundaries to his role, and within that, how he acted has to be seen. Rama Avatara, Krishna Avatara, all of them were certain roles played with a certain personality first defined. If they were to suddenly act as the supreme God, which they were all the time, they were God every time, all the time. There was no single moment when Krishna was not Mahavishnu. There was not a single moment when Rama was not Mahavishnu. So that suddenly switching the whole context is not proper. Last sentence here is, Ya evam ahimsakaha samyak darshananishtaha sa yogi paramaha utkrishtaha mataha avipretaha sarva yoginam madhye. This is an excellent shloka which talks about sympathy, empathy, caring for others, where spirituality is equated not with some miraculous powers of walking on water or something like that. True spirituality is being empathetic to all humanity, all life forms is brought out. Therefore, if you ever wish to connect Gita with excellent human values, don't leave out this shloka. Atma upamyena sarva. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya.